Let me talk about my feelings now that the season is officially over for my Washington Commanders. The what I've heard a lot since Washington ultimately made it to the NFC Championship, which was a shock to most people, including myself. I'm not going to sit here and say I went into the season thinking that we would be a game away from the Super Bowl. Pleasantly shocked, but shocked nonetheless. The sentiment that people are saying, the thing that I'm hearing a lot is we should be grateful or we should be okay with making it to the NFC Championship, then ultimately losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, we went into Tampa Bay and beat Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. Then we went into Detroit and beat the number one team in the NFC this year in the Detroit Lions. And then we went into Philadelphia and ultimately lost 55-23. Now, before we say anything, actually, let me finish the thought. All that is true to an extent. I am proud of my Washington Commanders. I did not expect us to be as good as we were. I knew Jaden Daniels was going to have a good season. I didn't think that he was going to arguably have the greatest season a rookie quarterback has ever had. So, talk about wave my pom-poms for the team. Shouts out to the Commanders. All of that is true. I didn't expect that. And it did happen. And I am happy that my team exceeded expectations catastrophically. Catastrophically is a negative word. Exceeded expectations to the umpteenth power. Let's say that. We were much better than advertised. So, in that sense, I am happy. I think that it really, if you need to know, if you want to know the importance and why almost every year the MVP goes to a quarterback, the Washington Commanders should be the poster child to how important it is to have a quarterback. There's a different feeling in the Washington, Maryland area because they have the quarterback of the future. And it's not just the quarterback of the future because he's a good player. Let me take you guys behind the curtain for a second because there's a conversation that I heard and I've heard all year, and only people that were in Maryland or that are Commanders fans or at the time were Redskins fans. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I'm trying to paint a picture. People are saying, how is there a different feeling between Jaden Daniels' first year and RG3's first year? For people that don't know, RG3 had an incredible first year as the Redskins football quarterback. He won the offensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, and it felt like we could turn the corner. It felt like this could be the time where Washington gets back to their winning roots when we had RG3. And while, yes, that is true to a certain extent, I think people that are fans of the Washington football team or fans of Washington understands there was always a yeah, but feeling with RG3. Maybe it was the lengthy history of injuries that he had even in college in Baylor. Now, yes, he did win a Heisman at Baylor, so shouts out to him, but he did have an injury history. Maybe it was the fact that there's more than just being talented at the quarterback position, especially when you're viewed as the franchise guy. That word, the franchise, means something. It means that you have to represent the organization the best way possible. You have to, when organization looks at you, or let me say this, when they look at the organization, the first thing they think of is usually you. If you want an example, we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens a little bit later and give you my feelings and how I felt at the game. But when we talk about, when you think of the Baltimore Ravens, the first thing you think of, if we talk about a player, is Lamar Jackson. He is the franchise player. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. The Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. If you want to go to any other sport, let's go to baseball. The Yankees, right now, current Yankees, Aaron Judge. The Dodgers, currently right now, Shohei Ohtani. If you want to go to basketball, the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry. Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. These are franchise players. They were entrusted or are entrusted to turn the franchise around or put the franchise into position to be as good as it can be, and they're the face of the franchise. And RG3 didn't do a great job at that. Now, he didn't have any off-field issues. He wasn't rude to fans, but he didn't have the best relationship with the organization. He didn't have the best relationship with the media, and obviously the media is the one that kind of shapes the narrative. And on top of that, as great as RG3 was, outside of that first year, there wasn't much winning attached to how great RG3 was. Now, yes, you can also say that it was attached to the injuries, but if you really look at the injuries, not all injuries are built equal. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of injuries that are preventable. Maybe if you put yourself in position not to get injured, it's easier said than done, obviously, but a lot of RG3's injuries felt preventable. Whether you slide, whether you take just get down, whether you just throw the ball away, a lot of the injuries were preventable. And every time he got hurt, it was just lengthy periods of being out, and then you rush back. If people don't remember, he rushed back and he shouldn't have, and he just was terrible. So while RG3 was the face of the organization, when we talk about the Redskins, he didn't represent the organization in the way that was maybe presented to the fan base his first year, obviously winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, outplaying Andrew Luck. And he was never, it never felt like, he was inaugurated into Washington culture. That is such a different feeling with Jayden Daniels. He seems like a kid that walked into an organization that is starving for relevancy, that is starving for something positive. When you get out of the Dan Snyder era, you're searching for something that you can positively wrap your arms around. And Jaden Daniels, it feels like he embraced that, on top of being an incredible player. So I said all that to say, there's a different feeling with Jaden Daniels, and that is why it just feels like Jaden Daniels has, not only is he just a good person from what it seems like, I don't know him personally, it seems like he's a good person, but he also feels like he has wrapped his arms around the Washington franchise. And it didn't seem like RG3 did the same thing, especially after year one. But back to the point. I was asking myself why, if all that is true, I'm excited, I'm happy for the future. I am over the moon in the fact that Washington played above and beyond any expectation that I and a lot of fans had. Why I was so distraught about losing in the NFC Championship. I was down bad. Like, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to talk to my family. That was probably one time I was really glad that I didn't have to come podcast, because I didn't know what to say. I was just livid. I was broken. All that is true. Jaden Daniels did have arguably the greatest rookie year ever from an offensive player. And I'm excited about the future of a team that hasn't been relevant seemingly since the 1991-92 season when they won the Super Bowl. Here's my thing. This is going to sound crazy, because even hearing myself say it in my head sounds crazy. The reason why I was so upset with the NFC Championship is simple. When you're playing against a team that in all metrics has proven to be better than you all year, has probably the best roster in football, is this record-wise the second best team in your conference, has an MVP candidate in Saquon Barkley, has a defensive player of the year candidate in Jalen Carter, and overall is just projected to be much better than you. This is going to sound crazy, but it's true. While the final score was 55-23, it did not feel like Washington was ever out of it until the fourth quarter. And what frustrated me the most is Washington had their chances, but when you give a team that has all of the things that I just listed, when you give them extra opportunity after extra opportunity, meeting turnover after turnover after turnover, you're going to lose. That was the theme. We're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens and Bills game in a second, but that was the theme of the playoffs this year. If you look at all the teams, right, that you thought had a shot, or not even you thought had a shot, that had a shot, Nine times out of 10, outside of a few games, or maybe outside of one or two games, the thing that has been the definitive difference between both teams is the turnover differential. Washington goes into Detroit, and Jared Goff decides to have one of his worst games of the season. We remember the 4 interceptions game that he had against Houston. Well, he said, "Hold my beer," and I think had 3 or 4 interceptions against Washington. I don't care what you're projected. I don't care where you are. If you keep giving a team more opportunity, especially in the playoffs, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. And there was Washington turned the ball over 4 times. I don't really count the last one because it was Jaden Daniels trying anything, and Quinyon Mitchell had an incredible interception in the end zone over Terry McLaurin. But when Austin Eckler turns the ball over, when McNichols turns the ball over, when De'Ami Brown turns the ball over, and then on top of that, Philly scores a touchdown every time. That's 21 points. There was a point in the game, I think it was the fourth quarter, that if you took away those 3 points, or you took away those 3 interceptions, and Washington had 23 at the time, the score would have been 23-27. And Washington had the ball. Now, yes, obviously, if things could have went differently, Washington may or may not have scored. What I'm saying is the feeling of the game would have been different instead of it being, 48-23. Interceptions, turnovers kill. It killed Washington. It killed Detroit. That's just what happens. So, no. As a logical Washington fan, even going in, I was happy for my team and I wanted my team to win. But I knew that it was going to be an uphill battle, especially when you see the holes that Washington has. And the holes that Washington has, the Philadelphia Eagles excels in. And we even saw that during the game. Saquon Barkley rushing for 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts throwing for 246 yards when he hasn't been throwing the ball well. Damn, Jalen Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns as well. And a passing touchdown. So Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley combined for 7 touchdowns. But the thing that irritated me the most is, even with all that, we still had a shot. And from a veteran-laden team, a team that has Bobby Wagner, a team that has Zach Ertz, a team that has Terry McLaurin, a team that has Austin Eckler, a team that has Dante Fowler, a team that has Marshawn Lattimore, a team that has all these veterans. It felt like the person that had the most poise, the person that responded to the situation at hand, was the rookie in Jaden Daniels. He was by far the best player on the Washington field, or on the field for Washington the entire game, which does bring happiness to the future. But in the moment, I'm like, there's a difference between losing by 32 and they just whooped us. It'd be different if we didn't have the turnovers. If we just lost by 32, we didn't even deserve to be there. It is what it is. Shake your hand, keep it moving. But the fact that you lose by that and you gave them 21, even in this, bro, you take 21 points from 51, the score is 23-34. That's a much different feeling than 23-55. So, Yeah, man. While I'm happy, I just, especially someone that this is the first time. Obviously, I was born in 1994. I wasn't born in 91, 92. I've never seen my team in the NFC Championship, let alone the Super Bowl. So I don't know. And as we've seen with teams like the Rams, with teams like the Bengals, with teams like the Jaguars, you never know when you're going to get it back. I hope the future looks really bright with Jaden Daniels, and Washington has some of the most cap space going into the offseason, so we'll see. But, yeah, we will see. But I was distraught. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.